The obligatory Muslim prayer performed 5 times a day by Muslims is the second pillar of Islam. Yeah, Salat is definitely, yeah, it says right here, Salat is definitely a very important thing, isn't it? Oh, the Shahada is the first pillar. Based traditional Muslims? Ha ha ha. The social ability of woman. She noticed all of her friends are over here and she's like, I can't be alone.
I wish I was there with you guys. Like it's honestly, it just gets really hard.
Look at the difference. Hijab, hijab, hijab. Devout, devout, devout. Progressive, progressive, progressive. This guy looks gay. This is a girl without a hijab. This dude looks like a hipster.
Like it's just 5 times a day.
I'm not pro-Muslim or anything, but like I feel a certain kinship to devout religious people.
It's like spread throughout the day.
I don't know what that hand thing is all about though. You guys see her hand?
And it gets kind of in the way.
If I could quantify it, I'm averaging about 3 out of 5 prayers. I think I will find myself in prayer more when I'm in desperation. It's not something that's subjective. I know we should be all praying as a requirement.
I just want to say it takes a lot of guts to be honest and say that. I honestly believe that if you
comfortably find a space, so I'd have to go pray in the car or in the parking lot.
Based?
So it is a challenge, but yeah.
Islam promotes violence.
Absolutely.
3, 2,
Surah 812, Surah 9123, Surah 434. How could you deny this? How could you deny it? You could say it promotes violence and love, but it certainly does promote violence. You can't deny
We're not allowed to cut
that.
down trees during war. We're not allowed to hurt children and mothers. We're not allowed to hurt our own.
Yes, you are. Literally. Okay, I won't bore you guys. Last time I left, a bunch of people left the stream. But I have a hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari. And in it, someone asks Muhammad. It's in the book of Jihad. And the hadith is like the equivalent to the Bible for Christians. It's like the written accounts of Muhammad's followers, right? So like the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the written accounts of Jesus Christ from his followers. The hadith is like Abu Hadi and all these other guys who are following Muhammad and writing down what he's saying. In the book, which is a primary source for Islam, they ask Muhammad, hey, if we're attacking a village and it's jihad, which is holy war, and there's women and children inside of a house, and we want to burn the house down because we know the enemy's in there, like, should we not, because there might be women, children, and infants? And Muhammad's response was, they too are of the unbelievers. He literally says explicitly, hey, maybe there's women and children and infants inside the building, but they're all unbelievers, aren't they? Burn it down. So, again, with debate, you have to know the other side's sources better than they do.
Prisoners, and when people associate.
Oh, so we can't burn down trees? Well, you can burn down buildings with children inside.
Terrorism.
And I'm not saying all Muslims do that, but the hadith explicitly says that's permissible, so.
Something.
And that's the thing. I'm anti-Islam, but I'm not necessarily anti-Muslim, right? A lot of these Muslims, like I said, I have a lot of sympathy for these people, especially the devout ones. I really respect the fact that this woman goes and prays 5 times a day in her car. That's epic, right? Or if she's busy, she prays in her car. I wish Christians were more like that, more devoted to their prayer life and their spiritual life. However, if we're talking about textbook Islam, it is very different than what these people are saying right now.
So disgusting with Islam, it hurts me because ISIS targets Muslims more than they target anybody.
And it says that's because of what Muhammad said in the Quran, where he's like, the hypocritical Muslims are worse than any of the unbelievers, and they should be the first to go.
Else.
And in the age of Google, there's no excuse. Like, if you don't know.
Yeah, Google David Wood. David Wood. Just Google him, watch some of his videos.
Islam means peace. Islam means surrender. Being a Muslim is one who submits their will to God. How is that violent? Like, at the end of the day, I feel.
Because the interpretation of what God's will is can vary from prophet to prophet. And if you have a false prophet who gives messages that are self-serving, like for example, let's say one of these prophets had a wife named Aisha who even came out and was like, hey, the God surely seems to give you anything you want. He hastens to your demands. It's kind of funny. Every time you see a girl you want to marry, you're just allowed to marry her. No one else can, but you can. And you see your brother-in-law's wife naked and you fall in love with her, and now God tells you can marry her, and God tells you men can only marry 4 women, except for you. You can marry as many as you want. It's kind of funny. That's kind of interesting. So anyways, some prophets have different interpretations of God's will, which can be interpreted in a violent manner.
I feel like media is the one that has that hand and that stronghold, causing folks to be that way or think that way.
I guess I literally listened to the prompts, does Islam promote violence? And I'm only speaking not from my personal perspective, but just from trying to understand how discussions about this religion can be used to defame it, to justify terrorism per se. When somebody says, and for the record, kill a non-believer, let's acknowledge that sentence. And if we're going to reach a conclusion and a solution with somebody who does think this way of us and our faith, we need to understand their argument thoroughly.
But
I disagree with what you just said.
Here's my argument.
I
I'm
really
giving
do,
it to you
because
guys.
I read the Quran every day as a practice. And not
All right. Wait, let's listen.
once in 2019 have I yet gotten to a verse about violence.
Okay, I've read the entire Quran. I'm giving you guys verses. Oh, you who believe, fight those adjacent to you of the disbelievers, and let them find in you hardness, and know that Allah is with the righteous. Oh, I wonder what this verse is about. The entire 9th chapter, the entire 9th surah of the Quran is a total war book. And if you don't know, you have to read the Quran in chronological order. The chapter 1, it was not the first chapter written. It was like the order is mixed up. So if you read it in chronological order, this is one of the last books in the Quran, which is important because of the rule of abrogation, which means when Muhammad was giving contradicting prophecy, people were like, wait a minute, you said love your neighbor, and then you said kill them. Which is it? And he's like, oh, anything I say later in life is more important than what I said before. So in your very last book is all about killing the unbelievers. That's why you get a giant Muslim crusade that happens as soon as Muhammad dies.
All of them are about mercy of God, turn to God, God is with you. To me, that's
you
an
denying the
emotional
verses?
connection.
Okay, I understand.
That is an emotional connection to my
Okay, emotional connection. O you who have believed, fight those adjacent to you of the disbelievers, and let them find in you hardness. Remember, when the Lord inspired to the angels, I am with you, so strengthen those who have believed. I will cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve, so strike them upon their necks, and strike them from every fingertip. Strike from them every fingertip. Okay. What is the emotional appeal of this? Strike them upon their necks? Like beheading? Am I lost here? Is this an emotional appeal I'm making? I'm quoting text to you. You're not saying anything other than, well, I've read some of the Quran, not all of it, but from what I've read, it's all about love and peace.
Creator.
Sure.
And I'm not going to allow anybody to take that away.
I'll take the statement that you
Please.
gave, kill the non-believers.
Yeah.
At the time of the Holy Prophet, the Muslims were endangered. They were the
Correct.
minority, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that because we are in danger.
That's not true either, by the way. In the beginning of Islam, see, this is why I could actually debate maybe on Islam, because I actually know Islam. But in the beginning, when Muhammad was first starting his religion, in Mecca and Medina, people were kind of suspicious of Islam. And that's why Muhammad's preachings were, oh, love everyone. We're loving. We love everyone. You have your religion. I have my religion, right? He wanted to appear very peaceful and non-threatening to everyone. It was only until Muslims became the majority. And at that point, then the message changed to, oh, now we're going to take over Mecca by force. Now we're going to start killing people in trade routes between Mecca and Medina. Now we're going to take over the city of Medina. Now we're going to take over the Arab world. So, yeah, when you talk about these nice, loving verses, these all happened at a time when Muhammad was trying to appear non-threatening so that he could avoid oppression. So, historically, what she's saying isn't even correct. It wasn't like people were murdering Muslims, so Muhammad's response was to say, fight them back. It was quite literally like, hey, these Muslims are a little sus. Like, they really don't like Christians and Jews. That's kind of sus. And then Muhammad's like, no. You have your religion. I have mine. And then when Muslims became the majority, it was, now we're going to kill you. Or you pay zakat, which is unbeliever tax. A tax to stay alive.
Whenever there's a non-believer, we kill them. What non-believer refers to are like the Meccans, or like the people that were actively going against Muslims and trying to harm us and stuff.
And I wanted this healthy discourse.
Yes, and
because
I agree
dwell
with you.
upon that other perspective. I didn't grow up proud of those verses because I didn't understand them.
Yeah,
but
and
now that I do
times-
have full understanding, I know that it's
Don't cuck, man. Don't cuck to them. Stay strong.
important to
I don't care what position you're taking, but stay strong in it.
not a one-dimensional perspective, but not even accept the others, but thoroughly understand it.
The job should be
Doesn't have to be a hijab, but you gotta be discreet. Or what's it called? Yeah, discreet, right?
I have strong feelings. I just feel like it's a woman's right to cover if she wants to. And to tell a woman what to do with her body is
Oh my gosh, this chick is so blind. She's only Muslim because she thinks it's cool. Here, I'll pull in another verse. So 4:34. Woman should be able to do whatever she wants. Okay, let's read the internal word of Allah. Men are in charge of women by right of Allah. Okay, there we go. This job is too easy. What Allah has given one over the other, what they can spend for maintenance from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in their husband's absence what Allah would give them by guard, blah, 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 blah. So if your wives, okay, I don't know, that's for your wives from whom you fear arrogance. So if they don't obey you, right, if they're not being obedient, first advise them, tell them to stop, right? Then, if they persist, if they continue to disobey you, forsake them from the bed, kick them out of the bedroom, basically. And then finally, strike them. But if they obey you, once more, then seek no more means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted and grand. Okay, ladies, so woman's right to choose what she wears. Woman is called to be obedient, and if she isn't, she gets a smackdown. So I don't know what you're talking about, girl. Again, internal word of Allah. It's not me saying it. You believe every letter of this was written by God himself. So don't look at me like I'm the Islamophobic one.
Our Islamic principles.
I'm not sexist.
Being a guy here,
I'm sexist, but not as bad as Allah.
Made a really conscious decision to be like somewhat agree because people don't understand that hijab is like a concept as far as like it's not just like the actual headscarf. Islam really promotes the idea of modesty. And
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Modesty,
and
not
if you feel like
whatever else I said.
Headscarf is a way for you to get closer to God.
Well, not necessarily. I mean,
and so be it.
100% agree with that because it's not just a headscarf, it's your behavior, it's a personality, it's how you treat your friends and your neighbors. Yeah, for a lot of people, the process is build my courage, my bravery, and my confidence, and then wear the scarf. For me, it was kind of reverse. I started with the scarf because I knew that I was not going to build that bravery unless I started wearing it. Because when you put it on, you start acting different, you start acting nicer, you're kinder, because now you're representing your religion, your faith.
You make me think really deep about that because I've been struggling. I wore it when I was about 15. I tried it out. But it's been a struggle because internally I want to be a better Muslimah that I'm going to represent to society before my outer side represents Islam.
I face discrimination for my religion. 3, 2, 1.
Wait, what was this one?
You make me think really deep about that because I've been struggling. Muslimah.
I face discrimination for my religion. 3, 2.
Everyone's gonna say agree for this, obviously. Not that guy? I like this dude. He seems pretty epic.
So I'm not a traditional Muslim female. I don't wear the scarf. When I was younger, I'd be walking home from the masjid with my mom. She wears the hijab.
Oh, religious discrimination from other Muslims?
This was before September 11th even happening.
Oh.
She would get teenagers in cars driving by, spitting on us, cursing at us.
Yeah, that totally happens. You know how it's, when you and your boys, you and the boys get in your car and you drive around and you find people who don't look like you and then you spit on them through right out the car window, you're driving and you slow down, hurry bro, spit on her. You like roll your friend's window down, you're like, hurry, spit on her, dude. Yeah, that's totally something that actually happens, isn't it? That's totally a real story.
She would always say, just brush it off.
When you show that you're a Muslim in any way, people kind of, like, you get those glances.
If that actually happened, if you're actually being, like, targeted for hate attacks, you would go back to whatever country your mom came from. You would not be staying here. She wouldn't say, oh, brush it off, it's fine. She'd be like, we got to get out of this country. We got to get out of this city.
So often. But what happened was that after, like...
dude, have you seen, like, whites are... white people in America aren't even being oppressed right now. They're being targeted for certain like hate crimes and they're being beat up by BLM and stuff. There's a lot of white people like, I gotta get out of this country. Things are getting bad. You know what I mean? It's like if Muslims were actually being oppressed in any ways, don't you think they'd be saying the same thing? Like whites who have a connection to America, whose ancestors built this country. They're saying, I'm getting out of this country. I'm leaving. This place sucks for me. They hate me here. Do you think Muslims who have no connection to America outside of, well, my mom came here when she was 20, I was born here. I went to school here. I have some friends here. And don't you think they're more willing to leave then?
This like election things happen. It's funny, people who you grew up with, people who you knew your entire lives are kind of looking at you a little differently. You know, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, wait a second, like, you know me. I didn't think this would be an issue, you know?
I personally have not experienced explicit discrimination. I conveniently can shave my beard and try to compensate almost, and it's sad to admit, but I know it's not my job to create a comfort space.
See, this is again from Surah 9, Total War Book. And when the sacred months have passed, kill the polytheists, and they think Christians are polytheists, by the way, wherever you find them, and capture them, and besiege them, and sit and wait for them at every place of ambush. But if they should repent, establish prayer, and give zakat, that means tax, let them go on their way. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful. So basically, we will murder you and your entire family unless you, I believe in this context, repent and establish prayer means become Muslim. But maybe not, because zakat is the non-Muslim tax. So it's like, pay us or we're going to murder your entire family. Oh, but there's no verses about violence. This is totally peaceful.
For another person. However, I would say that if you do guys confront it explicitly, try to think of it as an opportunity to teach as opposed to reacting with emotion.
I think it also depends on what the encounter is. Like, I had a beer bottle thrown at me after 9/11. I'm not going to go confront that person and be like, hey, let's build bridges.
Right.
Like, it's not, no. But if there's someone who's got a little bit of an attitude or, misconception, I'll work on that.
Women are equal to men.
I want to find the verse that says, approach your wife like a tilth. Oh, what is it? It's in chapter 2, I think.
Change mine.
Wow.
I had to think about it.
So the reason
I used to have like
agree
all
in
of these
astrology-
verses memorized. I used to be like a anti-Islam guy, and back in like 2016 or 17. Tilth, let's see. And I had all these verses memorized. Now I forgot all of them. I feel like this is why I gotta do more research before I debate on this. Not like I'm gonna be debating anyone on Islam anytime soon, but
strongly agree is that my understanding of human beings is that that women and men in general
what are they asking if men and women are different?
Women are equal.
Didn't we just... Oh, see, now I have to find the verse. Can I just Google it? Or DuckDuckGo it? Approach your woman like a tilth. Quran. Here it is, yeah, chapter 2, verse 223. Your wives are a tilth for you, so approach your wives when and how you would like, but take heed for your ultimate future. Okay, so a tilth is a plot of land in which you plant your seeds in. It's like a farming plot of land, you know, plant your tomato seeds or whatever in. So it's saying in here, your wife, or wives, I guess in this case, are a tilth onto you. They're a plot of land for you. They're property to you to do with how you please. Okay? Now, hey, look, I'm not saying this is immoral or wrong, but does that mean that... Oops, that's John Oliver. But does that mean that women and men are equal? Does that mean they're equal legally speaking, spiritually speaking? Absolutely not. In fact, in Islam, till this day, from the time of Muhammad till this day, woman's testimony is worth half of a man's. Okay, this is the words of Muhammad. He said, no, a woman's testimony is worth half of a man's. His justification was because women are forgetful. Because women are often forgetful, I believe his words were. But nevertheless, it proves the point that, hey, if this is what Muhammad said, and it's coming straight from the mouth of God, then you have to, like, again, by definition of being a Muslim, you must believe that men and women are not equal. They're not even equal in legal rights. They're not even equal. If a woman says that a man raped her and the man says no, the man's word is worth more than the woman's word. Right? Men and women are not equal. By virtue of her being a woman, her word is not equal to his.
Equal to men. 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna somewhat change mine.
wow.
I had to think about it.
So
So the reason I sit on agree and not strongly agree
Like, who is this chick? Like, come on, girl.
is that my understanding of human beings is that that women and men in general have different roles. You know,
Yeah.
men cannot bear children, women do.
Exactly.
In Islam, there's no discriminatory
There you go.
thing. There's nothing that a man can do that a woman
Wait, wait, wait,
cannot.
wait, wait. Wait. These people are the ones I don't agree with, though. Whoops.
And I don't have to prove otherwise except to cite in the Quran when Allah addresses us, believing men and believing women. Same level.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Because both men and women believe in God, that means they're equal. We're going to ignore the verse where it says women's legal rights are worth half of man's, where a woman's legal testimony is worth half of a man's. We're going to ignore the part where it says your wife is a tilth onto you. We're going to ignore the part where men are allowed to have 4 wives, but women are not allowed to have any, or like they're only allowed to have 1 husband. We're going to ignore the historical context where men get to choose their wives and women don't get a choice. We're going to ignore the Arab slave trade where women were taken as sex slaves but men couldn't be. This is so ridiculous. Oh, but the Quran says believing men and believing women. Therefore, we equal.
No, disagree.
I read the Quran.
Verbatim.
You don't read the Quran. Read this verse. Your wives are a tilth for you, so approach your lives when and how you like. Bruh, it says you can beat your wife if she's not obedient to you, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my gosh. Who has the verse? Who has the verse? Men are in charge of women by right of Allah. All Muslim men have the right over all Muslim women who they're married to by the right, by God's right, not by nature's right, not by the right, not by might makes right, but by the right of Allah. So righteous woman. So if you're a believing woman, a righteous, believing Muslim woman, you are devoutly obedient to your husband. And if you disobey, your husband will first advise you to be obedient. Then he'll kick you out of the bedroom. And then he'll strike you if you continue to be disobedient. And only if you obey him should he not continue to pursue these means against you. This girl is really annoying me.
You can't tell.
I'm acknowledging that the Quran prescribes something here, right?
No.
In Islam, we do get equal opportunities. Scientifically, no, we're not equal. Because men can do...
Why don't men have to wear hijabs? Why aren't hijabs made of silk or something nice? Why are they made out of burlaps? Or not burlaps, polyester. You know how hot those things get in the summer? Black polyester veils covering you from head to toe in the desert?
Do things physically that we can't do. Women can do things that men can't do. So my question would be, it's so low IQ. Like, people ask why I don't believe in democracy. Not a single person in this room has done any critical thinking on this topic. They knew they were going to go into this video, right? This production, being asked questions about Islam. None of them read the Quran. I don't think a single one of them has actually read the Quran. The one girl keeps saying, oh, I've been reading it. I've read parts of it. I don't think she's read the entire thing. And if she has, she's being very dishonest because, as we've seen, there's several Quran verses that contradict exactly what she's saying. And my Muslim followers will agree with me on this. Shout out to my Muslim followers. I still love you guys, okay? So it's frustrating because it's like, how is it that I know more about your guys' religion than you? And in the same way, right, I look at, like we talked about earlier, England. Why is it the Muslims standing up for Christian values? Why is it the Muslims kicking LGBT out of schools? That should be the Christians doing it. So it's disappointing that there's Muslims, too, that know more about Christianity, it seems, than Christians. I'm sitting here like, how is it that I know more about your guys' faith, of these people here, than you guys? This is why I don't believe in democracy. Because in a democracy, all 6 of these people would say, oh no, Islam is great, and Islam says nothing bad about women. It says women and men are the exact same. Look, they're all standing on the same side, that men and women are completely equal, when it's just verifiably untrue. Can't do. Women can do things that men can't do. So my question would be, what aspect are we discussing? It's such a broad...
Oh. My gosh.
Of the LGBT community. 3, 2,
This is insane. This is the agree side, right? It must be because she's here.
It's such a broad
These are not Muslims. I'm sorry, these aren't Muslims.
question that I'm going to stand here just to be on the safe side.
I'm sorry to my Muslim followers if you're watching this. I'll probably clip it and upload it. I'm sorry if you guys are watching this and you're probably all upset with me. But, you know, keep in mind, I'm bashing primarily these people, okay? Like, they're not representing your religion quite well.
I'm a contradictory human being.
Like, if people were straight up and they were like, yeah, you know what, Islam involves killing, but, you know, we're at a more modern day of time when we don't need to do that anymore. I'd be like, okay, I respect that opinion. You acknowledge what's true. You acknowledge what's said in the Quran, and you're saying whether you agree or disagree with it and why. Okay, I acknowledge that. I get it, right? And, you know, these people are not doing that. They're not doing it at all. They're like, oh, no, the Quran says nothing about killing. No, the Quran says men and women are equal because men believe and women believe in God, so we're equal.
I pray with one hand.
And see, with that, I actually agree on with the whole like men and women being different. Why can't any of these people say, yeah, you know what, the Quran, this guy's somewhat being truthful, but even he's always on their side. It's just not to the extent that most of them are. But if they were like, yeah, you know what, women are seen less than men in Islam, and then they say why they agree or disagree with that, that'd be one thing. But they're not. They're just blatantly ignoring what is said in the Quran and the Hadith.
Commit sin with the other.
It's blasphemous, actually. If they believe in Muhammad, and they believe that he is truly a prophet of Allah, then they are being quite blasphemous to ignore the historical truth of Muhammad and what he did. I know the historical context for Muhammad. I know the Quran. I know the Hadith. And I understand when these verses were written and why they were written. I'm not a Muslim. I don't have to believe any of this. Why don't you guys know this?
So I'm not in a position to be able to tell somebody that they're excluded from a whole faith if perhaps their faith in God is stronger than mine.
Okay, so you can be
and she's not going to know how to answer this either. I can answer this better than she can.
anything and be a Muslim. But I guess the reason I'm standing here is because Islam is a lot about the progression of the human race and about what is natural. And what is
Birth
not.
rates check.
Islam doesn't necessarily support
Increased birth rates check.
like the lifestyle of the LGBT community. However, they do support them as human beings, and that is something like you know, it's something that I've struggled with because.
Is she crying?
They have 100% love and support. I take a bullet for anybody. I don't care what their sexual
cringe.
orientation is.
Oh, cringe.
My best friend, he's gay, and we've had these conversations before, and he's told me that, you know what, Husna, I love you for you. I love you for everything that we've been through together. I don't care what it is that you stand for, and that's, you know.
Oh, girls are so emotional. It's like, so? That's great that someone loves you despite your imperfections. All right, let's put it in a rom-com and call it a day. You know what I mean?
It's really comforting to know that you don't have to support a lifestyle to support a human being, to love a human being, and to love people.
Christians say this all the time. This is the whole like hate the sin, not the sinner kind of thing. It's like, yeah, hey, we disagree with homosexuality and we don't think you should be living the lifestyle, but we'll still accept you as a human. You know what I mean? That's all she's saying. Christians say it all the time with a straight face and no one cares. Or rather, people do care. They get all mad about it.
Unconditionally.
I love what you said. Yeah, and that's why I'm here, because the prompt was, can you be LGBTQ and Muslim? And yes.
Yeah, you can be. You just go to hell.
Be anything and Muslim. If we're gonna get into the logistics of lifestyle practices and the core of
yeah, and you got to pray 5 times a day, and you got to give to charity, and you have to say the Shahada. I already forgot the other pillars. See, I'm a little rusty on my Islamic knowledge. Salat, Swam, you have to fast, and you have to go to Mecca, Hajj. Or Hajj. I always pronounce it wrong.
Scripture, yes, there are different lifestyles or things that are asked for in Scripture, but there's nothing that says they are not welcome in the faith. They are not welcome in our houses of worship. They cannot pray. They cannot stand beside us. They don't fast. They are people.
I haven't looked into homosexuality that much in Islam. Islam on homosexuality. Let's look up Quran. Surah 4:15. Oh, our favorite chapter, Surah 4. Those who commit immorality among your women must have four. Oh, that's about rape, I think. Oh, lesbians. Gays. And those who commit among dishonor both of them. If they repent, leave them alone. Indeed, Allah is accepting. Okay, that's nice. Those who falsely accuse. Okay. Regarding gay men, penalty is dishonor until they repent. Penalty is dishonor? What does that mean? Anyways. I wish there was a New Testament verse that was as black and white as it seems to be in the Quran. That would be very, very helpful. You know? Because there is like New Testament justification for, obviously, for like a moral man and woman marriage, and anything outside of that is perverse. But it would be nice if it explicitly said like, hey, like in the Old Testament Leviticus, it's like no bestiality, no marrying your sister, no marrying your brother, no marrying your mother, no marrying your father, no marrying other men, right? No marrying adulteresses, no marrying widows, and it's like it's very clear. I wish it was like that in the Old Testament or in the New Testament.
It's very hard, I would say, to be a Muslim.
Oh my gosh, it's so
This
cringy.
to fit in, and everyone.
Wow. Okay.